out there, overcast. 10.5 degrees right now. And Kate, we did see in the second race that the course is starting to go through that process, as it will during a cross-country race, of getting a little worn in, chewed up, but nothing too out of hand yet. As we look at some of the teams to keep an eye on in this novice boys race, the Neil McNeil team out of Toronto. They were the Toronto District Catholic Athletic Association regional champs this year, scoring 19 points to take that victory. Collingwood Collegiate Institute was the Georgian Bay champion with 27 points.
Adam, we should quickly also mention there that Neil McNeil was second as a team in the novice boys race last year, so looking to land on the podium again here in 24.
Some of the individual athletes looking to make some noise here. Aiden Chan Smith from Michael Power St. Joseph in Etobicoke. He was the Toronto District Catholic Association champion this year at a time of 13:26. That was 53 seconds better than second place. That was Owen Anselm of Bishop Allen Academy. Hanson DeBoer from Emmanuel Christian High School. He was the SWASA champion, Central Western Ontario region. He ran 12:21.60 to take that title. That was a good race to the final there. He just outran Owen Sound District Secondary School's Oliver Hershey, who was only a 1/10 of a second behind him. Billy Hansen also in the mix as well. He was the LASA champion, time of 13:01.78.
Well, Aiden Chan Smith, as you mentioned, one of the athletes to keep your eye on. He had a fantastic year in 2023. Coming into this novice race with lots of experience at the provincial level, he set 4 provincial records in 2023 on the indoor and outdoor circuits across the mid-distance events, and then has also had a very successful start to his 2024 thus far. Of course, we're nearing the end of this year, and he's going to likely take all of that good work into the next year as well, but he's got wheels, he's fast, he's strong. So from the 800 to the cross-country course, he is an all-around very strong athlete, and certainly one to keep your eye on here.
Let's take a look at the first hill these athletes are going to have to contend with. And it is early on in this race. They will do 2 laps. The course 3,980 meters.
Well, Adam, speaking of the course, you know, Chan Smith and several athletes out of that Etobicoke area contingent will have done a lot of their training on last year's OFSAA cross-country course that, as we mentioned, involves that giant ski hill. So when it comes to the change in elevation on this course here in Ottawa, a lot of the runners who have access to that park in Toronto will do very well with the hills here, and probably just call them slight rises as opposed to hills, because once you've run up and down that ski hill in Toronto, there is not much that's going to compare to it by way of a cross-country course, I'll tell you.
Whenever you see a lift next to a hill, you know it is going to be a challenge to get up that hill, and that is the case at the park in Etobicoke. And we are underway in the novice boys OFSAA Cross Country Championship race. 292 athletes scheduled to run this race, and the mad dash at the start.
Well, as we mentioned, both individual and team titles on the line. Last year in the novice boys race, it was Dundas Valley who took top marks. Neil McNeil placed second, and rounding at that podium was St. Mary's. So we will either see a repeat or a new champion crowned, and they are off to a very swift start here. Digging the glasses, by the way, of our athlete there on the left side of screen. He's top marks for style. Look good, feel good, run good, Adam.
A lot of movement right now at the front of this race. Alistair Wark in the mix from Collingwood Collegiate Institute.
Adam, again, this is so challenging because the course narrows fairly quickly, and look at the congestion on this hill. I mean, you've just got to sort of put your head down, keep track of the feet around you, and make sure that you're putting one foot in front of the other as safely as possible. That is not an easy way to start this race. And as I say that, two athletes doing a really good job of just getting themselves out of that mess of competitors. This is a big, big breakaway very early on by our two leaders as they approach the sand here, trying to find their footing, feet under them. That is a Michael Power athlete up front, and he is being stalked closely by our second place competitor at the moment.
So that looks like it is indeed Aiden Chan Smith. So does Chan Smith out to the early lead?
Adam, we should mention that you just saw, I think one of the volunteers go and put a stake beside those hay bales. I was curious about that. There is a little bit of a gap coming out of the beach where there are a set of hay bales, and it looks as though they are now forcing the athletes over that set of barriers rather than being able to run around them. And that's very reminiscent of my World Cross Country Championship days, where you would be on these relatively flat, relatively well-groomed courses, and they would bring in things like logs and hay bales to create some barriers for athletes to have to overcome. So it looks as though that will be the case for the runners moving forward. But great shot here, really good perspective on exactly how deep this field is, how many runners are competing together really closely as they stream across the bay there in this first lap of 2 of the Novice Boys 4K. Again, it can't be overstated how difficult it is to qualify for the OFSAA championships. This is a big deal for these runners, so kudos to every athlete out there. And if you're watching from home, we appreciate you tuning in and taking advantage of this opportunity to cheer on from afar your athletes, your teammates, maybe your kids, your siblings. This is a big deal, and of course everything is leading towards those Canadian cross-country championships, Adam, that we'll have at the beginning of December. But there we see Aiden Chan Smith continuing to extend that lead.
Chan Smith, Toronto District Catholic Region Champion. Did so in rather convincing fashion. He won that race a time of 13:26.50. 3 seconds faster than second place.
Well, Adam, that's quite reminiscent of what we saw out of the finish of the novice girls race, with Chloe Walker having done excellent work in her regional qualifying race, asserting herself up front and knowing how to front run, knowing how to lead when you don't have a lot of people around you. That is really difficult to do. You know, we spend a lot of time talking with athletes about whether they would like to be the hunted or the hunter. And there you see a little shoulder check again. Chan Smith doing a good job of using these tangents just to take advantage of, okay, I've got a bit of a turn here. I can look back without necessarily expending too much energy or making it too obvious. But he obviously really likes being a front runner in this scenario, and it's serving him quite well. Second place, not even in camera sight right now. This is dominating performance up front.
And the 3 races so far have all followed a similar script. An athlete got out to a pretty significant lead. In the first race, it was Chloe Walker who was able to hang on. In the second race, we did see a lead change as it was Tristan McGuire who had a significant lead after the opening lap, and Anthony Segan was able to reel him in and took the victory. So how is the script going to play out here in the novice boys race? Aiden Chan Smith through the opening lap in a time of 6:10.4. Gianfranco Arauti from St. Thomas of Villanova in LaSalle, second at the opening split. He 10 seconds back of Chan Smith at 6:20.3. Alistair Wark, Collingwood Collegiate, 6:26.5. So there's some separation between first and second, and between second and third. And it's a good battle for that third spot at that opening interval. Ellie Hansen also in the mix, Julian Luoma, and Egan Hallett.
And great visuals here. We saw that screen on screen, and also you can check out that athletic course tracker down at the bottom of the left side of your screen as you watch our leader making his way around that sort of teardrop shape bottom part of our loop. He's heading up the hill again for the second time. Like you said, a pretty healthy lead over second place, 6:10 to 6:20 through that opening split. And then Wark doing well to stalk Rowty right now, and 6:26 to the opening split. There's that hill, and you can see umbrellas are out. The rain has officially started falling, Adam. It's going to get sloppy. Probably not before these athletes are done, luckily for them. But true cross-country conditions here in Ottawa today.
Novice boys, yes, they might be the last one to enjoy a relatively dry course here. But it wouldn't be a cross-country championship without a little rain.
I always say cross-country is the event in which it is hardest to be a spectator because you expect these conditions as an athlete. A lot harder to stand out there for hours on end when it's under 10 degrees Celsius and raining. But obviously not affecting our leader right now. Chan Smith running really strong. But Adam, as you can see in the back of our camera shot right now, he is, his gap has been closed a little bit. And this is the hard thing about being up front is unless you do, and you see him right there, do multiple shoulder checks, which you don't want to be doing constantly. Unless you do a lot of those, it's really hard to get feedback on where the danger lies. That danger not in sight at the moment, but certainly working its way towards our early leader.
Getting a look at the athletic course, elevation tracker, excuse me. This is one of the flatter portions of the course. Jan Smith still leading the way, had a 10-second advantage at the opening split. Gianfranco Rowdy was second at that split. No one contesting Chan Smith right now.
I think it's really impressive that we saw the leaders of both our boys and girls novice races taking some risks here and really pulling away from the rest of the field. This is the first time that these athletes are contesting the provincial championships, and you have to have quite a bit of faith in your ability to be able to go out this hard from, in Chan Smith's case, from the gun. There's a comfort that you sometimes get from running with others, especially if you know you have a good kick. So you can run with others for a longer time and then kind of pull away towards the end. This is gutsy running up front, both by Walker and Chan Smith in our novice divisions. And I love to see it. I love great competition, of course, but I also love when people just take on the challenge and assert themselves up front, and that's exactly what we're seeing here.
Well, Rowdy did make up some of that gap early on in the second lap on Chan Smith, but it looks like that work has all gone for naught, as now Chan Smith is really in control.
Well, Adam, I have a hard time believing he's going to be caught at this point as you continue using that athletic course tracker and athletic elevation tracker. You can see that we are very near the finish of this race, and it has been Aiden Chan Smith all along. And last kind of shoulder check there just to make sure that he is as far ahead as he thinks he is. This is good information that these athletes are going to use moving forward again towards those provincial and national championships from the club level, and then into future racing as well. You know, this is the first time that a lot of these runners have gone head to head all season. If they're not from the same district, they might not have had a chance to be able to sort of eke out what each other's strengths and weaknesses are. Well, front running is clearly the strength of Aiden Chan Smith, out of Michael Power, running strong throughout this race. And Adam, he is into the closing meters of this event.
He's got an 11-second lead over Rowdy now, as he takes a look back just to see where Rowdy is. Wark running in third, but out in front it is Aiden Chan Smith. Rowdy trying to make a charge, but it's going to be too late. Chan Smith went out to the early lead, and he is going to take the victory here. The Novice Boys 4K at the OFSAA Cross Country Championships. And it will be Rowdy across for second place. 10 seconds behind Chan Smith. And Wark will take third place. Thomas Mott comes across in fourth.
What a finish there by Gianfranco Rowdy to take second place. He was, I think, closing faster than our eventual winner, Chan Smith. He just had left, I think, that kick a little bit too late. Adam, you mentioned that he had put in good work early on to try to close that gap. Obviously just couldn't hang with the pace. But what a strong finish by him, and then a great battle there between third and fourth in the form of Wark and Mott. That is Luoma, Hallett, and Maisi coming across the line now. So we're going to keep, of course, our eye on those team titles as well. But absolute speed pouring across this finish line in this Novice Boys 4K race.
So rounding out the top 10, Mateo Dorego in 8th from Bill Crothers. Ian Markham, Ellie Hansen from Uxbridge in 9th, and Owen Lanting in 10th.
Adam, of course, you've mentioned this before. These are subject to change, and they are not official results by any margin, but we do have now 4 teams, it appears, with 2 out of their 4 athletes across the line, and now 4 athletes from St. Mike's College in Toronto. St. Mary's has 3 athletes, so does St. Thomas Aquinas. Collingwood has 3 as well, as does Westdale.
So it is St. Michael's College School right now with the lead in the team competition. Those numbers can still change, though. Benjamin Maise, their top finisher, he crossed the line in 7th place. St. Thomas Aquinas out of London right now in 2nd place. Big gap between those two teams, over 100 points. Right now, St. Michael's College at 125 points, St. Thomas Aquinas at 226. Hard battles continuing to the line here, as not only are they racing for individual placement, they want to try and help their team as much as they can. Leading the way right now on the team front, St. Michael's College, 125 points. St. Thomas Aquinas, they've now gotten the gap down to 100 points exactly at 225 for them. Neil McNeil right now in 3rd with 255 points. Just looking at St. Thomas Aquinas' finishers right now. No one in the top 40, but their top 4 finishers, as it stands right now, range from 43rd to 68th.
And an athlete really looking in some distress there, doing a great job of getting himself across the line as he hops his way to that finish. And this is maybe a good opportunity, Adam, for us to, again, thank all the volunteers and medical staff on site for doing the very best they can with all of our athletes, keeping everyone safe, healthy, and making a great experience for everyone on course.
That was Cole Lindley from West Niagara Secondary School in Grimsby, gutting it out there. He crosses in a time of 19:08.3. race right down the line between Jonathan Alton and Noah Vanderhyde, and it's Alton edging out Vanderhyde by a 1/10 of a second.
Well, Adam, in the novice girls race, we saw that eight-point division between first and third. So this is where every single place counts in that team category. So again, as we continue populating our results, you'll see that at the moment, St. Mike's Collegiate is sitting in first at 125 points. St. Thomas Aquinas in second and Neil McNeil in third. Last year, Neil McNeil came second as a team. I should also mention that right now, Collingwood Collegiate is sitting in fourth. They were also fourth last year in the team category. So again, some of these teams showing repeat performances year on year. Of course, the athletes themselves will change with each division, but the coaching remains often unchanged, and you're seeing the fruits of that labor by all of our coaches in these performances as well. So big shout out to the coaches. All of this is volunteer in Ontario, so we appreciate all the development work that's going into an excellent experience on and off of the track and field for all of our runners.
So there is the winner in the team competition. St. Michael's College School out of Toronto. They collect 125 points. Benjamin Maise leading the way for them with a 7th place finish. Jackson Ward 16th. Carson Levy 45th. Then Iman Zitzma 56th.
So a fabulous third race of the day in our novice boys competition. Off to a very fast start, sprinting from the line, Aiden Chan-Smith. Well, this was his show today. Unbelievable performance by the multi-time provincial record holder and eventual winner of the novice boys.
Up next, it's the junior girls final. That is coming up at 12:30.
Save the date, mark your calendar. Wednesday, December